Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the uncommon rock-type Pokemon Nosepass and its extremely rare rock-steel type evolution, Probopass, collectively known as the Compass Pokémon. Nosepass and Probopass are easy to distinguish from other Pokemon as a result of their distinct and unique physical features. Both of these Pokemon have blocky body forms, primarily made out of solid rock, though they still contain some organic parts to them, such as their brain and a circulatory system to help keep it running. While the bodies are tinged purple in the case of Nosepass, the main body is tinged a clay blue color in Probopass as a result of the different structural arrangement. The limbs of Nosepass are also quite blocky in form, and are attached to the main body by ball and socket joints made out of rock as well, though the joints are much harder than the rest of the body to ensure that they are not ground down by repeated use. Strangely enough, they do possess an echo chamber in their body that is used to amplify sound so they can actually hear their surroundings, but their ear holes are only clearly visible in the case of Nosepass. While Nosepass do have eyes, only Probopass really use them, as Nosepass live underground most of the time or within rocks, so they prefer to keep them perpetually closed and instead read the electromagnetic signatures of other objects and creatures when approaching and handling danger. The most obvious feature of these creatures, however, are their noses, which are a different color than the rest of their body for the most part due to containing a higher concentration of magnetic minerals in them than the rest of their bodies. Probopass also possess a head crest of the same color, which acts as a focusing unit for intensifying their electromagnetic field. In the case of Probopass, the nose is further added to by the presence of what might initially look to be a mustache, but is in fact a pile of magnetic mineral shards that are attached to and held in place by the intense electromagnetic field emitted from that part of their body. In addition, Probopass are adorned with a set of 3 small figurines that are referred to as mini noses, which effectively act as their limbs due to them losing their normal ones upon evolving from Nosepass due to structural rearrangements. While they might initially be seen as typical rock-type Pokemon, Nosepass and Probopass are well known for the unusually powerful electromagnetic fields that they regularly generate from their bodies. As it turns out, their bodies actually contain an unusually high concentration of magnetizable metals in them that naturally generate strong fields when even a minor charge is run through them. As a result, they have access to power that is otherwise unseen among most other rock-type Pokemon. While they naturally acquire many rock-type attacks as would be expected of a Pokemon of their type, they also naturally gain access to moves like Thunder Wave, Spark, Discharge, and Zap Cannon, and can generally use them as a natural deterrent against any water-type Pokemon that they may come across, with their power increasing the colder it is, as it is easier to line the atoms in their body involved in generating their fields when they don't move around as much. Moreover, they are able to more directly utilize their magnetic fields as a weapon in battle outside of moves, as in the case of Nosepass, when they feel they are in a desperate situation, they can temporarily energize their entire bodies and radically increase the strength of their electromagnetic field, attracting every magnetizable metal object within 100 feet of them to form a shield around their body that not only protects them from harm, but also pulls in prey with magnetizable materials in their bodies, and further helps to strengthen their electrical attacks, as they can use the metals to increase the size of the field and amplify the power of electric-type moves. The only hazard that comes with this is that they might end up attracting their opponents with this power, in turn explaining why they can gain access to Magnet Pull as a base ability, as do Probopass, and can be indirectly linked to their Sand Force hidden ability when combined with their Sandstorm technique. Aside from combat, this makes Nosepass highly susceptible to the effects of specific electromagnetic fields, as intense varieties have the capacity to allow Nosepass to evolve. When exposed to these unique fields, the metals in the bodies of Nosepass are drawn to the surface, and the bodies change shape as their internal mass is pulled and pushed by the intense field, attracting more magnetic material in the vicinity and combining it with their base form in order to grow in size and power, becoming Probopass and taking on the additional attributes of the steel type as a result of this layering of metal and rock material. This provides them with a host of benefits as their form changes, as while they do lose the ability to use the Harden and Rock Throw moves, they instead learn Iron Defense and Magnet Bomb, and additionally gain access to the Tri-Attack, Magnet Rise, Magnetic Flux, Gravity, and Wide Guard moves, all of which are a consequence of their stronger magnetic field and the addition of the mini noses to their attack arsenal. As one might expect, in terms of stats, Nosepass and Probopass are primarily focused on defense, but they are more than effective at filling this role in battle. Even in their base form, Nosepass have a high base defense stat, and their base special defense stat is relatively high as well, allowing them to take a brutal beating from both types of offense. This is reflected in their abilities as well, as both they and Probopass can naturally possess Sturdy as a base ability due to their incredibly hard bodies. In evolving into Probopass, however, something interesting happens. Contrary to what one might expect, their base defense stat is only increased slightly in evolution. Their base special defense stat, on the other hand, skyrockets due to the energy deflecting attributes of the layer of metal that covers their outer bodies. While this still leaves them and Nosepass far below average in terms of their base HP, attack, and speed stats for either a fully evolved rock or steel type Pokemon, it does grant Probopass a higher than average base special attack stat for a rock type Pokemon, even if not for a fully evolved steel type Pokemon, and further allows Probopass to keep higher than average defensive stats for both of its types, in turn granting it the highest base special defense stat out of all steel type Pokemon, tied with Registeel and shield form Aegislash. As such, while they might not be able to output a severe amount of damage, they are more than capable of taking it and can be hard to defeat without strong super effective attacks on one side. In looking at Nosepass, it is important to note that while they do have impressive powers at their disposal, they are at a disadvantage because they are unable to fully control their electromagnetic powers in their current state. As a result, due to the incredibly high concentration of magnetized metal in their noses, they are stuck in a semi-permanent position with it always pointing towards the magnetic North Pole. They cannot easily face any other direction without exerting a great deal of effort, and while they do have the power to move the direction they face by a little bit, it's only by about 3/8 of an inch a year, so the movement is incredibly subtle. While they thankfully have most of their senses to rely on to help them, this means that Nosepass usually cannot face their opponents in battle, and if two Nosepass meet, they can never face each other due to their noses being locked in as compasses and repelling each other, hence their species title. Thankfully, Nosepass are not in complete danger, as while they normally cannot change the direction they can face, if they feel that they are being threatened, they can spin their bodies rapidly by producing a polarity field on one side of the body that pushes and rotates them in one direction, drilling into the ground in a split second and hiding there until they feel it is safe to return to the surface. Moreover, the fact that they always point north can help travelers that are lost, and they are thus very common to see among hikers that travel through areas where Nosepass are known to live. With Probopass, the electromagnetic fields that they exude are strong enough that most electrical appliances will cease to function for good in their presence. So strong, in fact, that they can actually override the compass-like nature of their bodies and freely move them as they wish, with a stronger field at their side than the local magnetism in an entire area. While evolution robs these creatures of their limbs, they can easily float in the air via electromagnetism, and they generate a series of small figurines from leftover pieces of their transformed state after evolution that they use in place of limbs. These mini-noses have no true sentience of their own, instead being fully controlled by the main body of Probopass and used to attack with physical strikes to make up for the fact that they lack limbs. Since Probopass actually have good eyesight that they can use to detect and observe others with, they can use their electromagnetic fields to control these units freely, attacking from 3 different directions at once and thus making it very hard to ambush them. The mini-noses are made of the same material as their main bodies, so while it is possible for the electromagnetic field of another creature or object to disrupt the connection between the mini-noses and the main body and result in them getting lost, if they are lost, damaged, or destroyed, Probopass can easily spawn off pieces of their own body in order to repair and reform them. This is crucial for them in combat, as these units are the source of all of Probopass's physical attacks, with the main body only able to use a weak tackle attack on its own. Thankfully, this is rarely ever a major issue, as these creatures are better designed to make use of their special offenses in battle over their physical ones. Despite not being very gifted in terms of offense, stamina, or mobility, Nosepass and Probopass are quirky creatures that can definitely make useful barriers in battle so long as their major weaknesses are not made a problem. They might look quite humorous to some, but put these stone beasts to work and they can more than prove to be a pain to take down if they get the chance to cripple you or otherwise make themselves more difficult to damage. If you do plan on traveling with these creatures though, do your best not to fight with them over directions. They might not know exactly where you are going at first, but if you get lost and don't pay attention to what direction they are pointing to when trying to get your bearings, well, then you really will have no one to blame but yourself.